This episode is brought to you by The Little Pilgrim.
Want to hit the road this summer without breaking the bank? Follow these tips on today's episode of The Catholic Money Show. It's no secret that the Teixeiras love a good road trip.
And let's call it like it is. When you live in Nebraska,
you got to get out of here.
That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say most of many.
You're centrally located, so you can get to a lot of cool things by simply getting in the car.
Okay, fine. Yeah, you just nailed it. Really, I mean, maximum, you go 24 hours and you're literally at the edge of anywhere you want to be in the country.
Trip.
I don't recommend a 24-hour road trip, but within about 8 to 10 hours, we're in most places in the central part of the country.
Yes.
A lot of places that is drivable for us.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas other parts of the country, you're pretty much just locked in and committed to, you know, you're way in the south or you're way on the east or you're way on the west. Well, we have the option of a road trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's something to consider.
When I grew up in Pennsylvania, we didn't do a lot of road trips, but if we did, can't really go that much farther east. So we're limited in the options that we can go and the stuff that we can see. So sure.
So yeah, sky's the limit for us because we're in the middle of the country. And yeah, if you're feeling really ambitious, you could be almost anywhere within about a day of driving.
Sure. And if you're not careful, the sky can be the limit of your budget for these road trips.
Yes. And we learned this the hard way. Not the hard way, but when we bought our first RV back in the summer of 2020. Now, gas prices were better then, but they have increased as time has gone on. And we realized in the Wallet Winnebago, as it was affectionately called, while it still was with us, rest in peace. It was totaled in an accident last summer. Anyway, we were getting maybe 7 to 8 miles a gallon.
Downhill with the wind.
And then we were praying acts of contrition if we were going downhill because I was afraid the brakes were going to go out. Remember that time we were in Duluth?
Oh, yes.
Heading straight for the lake? It's all downhill, people. And I was terrified of the RV brakes going out. It didn't. Praise be Jesus Christ.
Down forever.
Anyway, we learned quickly that we need to get more tools to carry around in our arsenal for road trips specifically. They can be sneaky. Sometimes you think, oh, road trip, this is going to be cheap. People get in their heads, road trip equals cheap. Not necessarily. When you factor in stopping and getting a lot of food on the road.
Yep.
Which one of our tips today is not pack a lot of food,
trip.
But you should.
Bring the food.
Yes, get a good cooler and pack a lot of food. You absolutely should. Or order groceries at your final destination when you get there. Those are road trip saving things we're not going to talk about. We're talking about the actual driving of getting there and maybe staying on your way. 3 tips.
3 tools
to make that more cost effective.
That we use.
Oh, yeah.
To make road trips, I think, more fun and easier on the wallet. So let's hop in. The first one is one I love. It's a little app called Gas Buddy.
You love gas.
And Gas Buddy, yeah, sure. It helps you find the gas prices around towns. You can find the cheapest one. But the real secret is to sign up for their free Pay with Gas Buddy app program. So you do this, they send you a card in the mail, and then that's linked up through your Gas Buddy account to your bank account. So
it's like paying with a debit card.
Yes, exactly. And so when you go to the gas pump, you open up your Gas Buddy app, you find where you are, or maybe the gas station on the other side of the street is even lower because you get extra savings when you pay with Gas Buddy. So maybe it's 5 cents off a gallon. Maybe it's 10 cents off a gallon. Maybe it's even more. So there's a free tier where you do this and you just use the card and its number or whatever, and then you pump your gas.
So that saves you in general.
Yes. Now they have a paid tier as well. And if you're on a big old road trip, then I think the paid tier is worth it. You do end up, at least when we've used it in the past, you end up making your money back and then a little bit extra.
Yes.
So then you're getting 10, 20, maybe 30 cents off per gallon on the road trip. So when you're filling up the RV tank,
or a truck or an SUV.
that was real great. There's 2 tiers to that. At least there used to be last time we used it. There's the gold, which is the one they tell everybody about. And then there's a silver, which the only difference last time we used it was gold included some like roadside help or whatever.
Which
if you got a flat tire, which we already had and which you probably already have as part of your car insurance. So if you don't need it, well, then you don't need to pay any extra for it. And then you get to the savings and the money you get beyond the savings even faster.
Ooh, we're in each other's brain.
So in order to do that, you have to kind of do a Google search online for Pay with Gas Buddy Silver. It's kind of hard to find, but you can get your way there through a help article or two.
We'll link to it in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll give you a link to it as well.
Make it easy. You don't have to go on a sleuth.
Yeah, but even if you're not on the big road trip, you can still use Pay with Gas Buddy. Save a couple cents on each gallon of gas when you're filling up somewhere else. Now, if you are a member of Costco or Sam's Club, any of that stuff, double check the prices against those guys. You won't be able to use Pay with Gas Buddy there, but their prices might be pretty good too.
Yeah, so in town, we typically don't use it because Costco's price just beats Gas Buddy's price anywhere else.
But if I need gas and I'm nowhere near the Costco,
yes, you use Gas Buddy.
I Pay with Gas Buddy.
Yep. Or if we're on a road trip, always use Gas Buddy. Now, one of my favorite features of Gas Buddy, and this is just in the free, is the gas estimator.
Ooh.
I believe it's through them.
Yeah,
is it through them?
I think it might be.
Where you can plug in what your address is and the final destination. And then you can even say if it's a one-way or a round trip, etc. And then it's going to approximately tell you what your total is going to be for gas.
Because you also tell it what kind of car you're driving.
Yes. And I find that tremendously helpful. This is just kind of a side tip for knowing what you should be budgeting for the road trip as far as gas expenses go. Because I found just people oftentimes will undercut that expense. They just don't have a realistic idea of what's going to be spent on gas.
Or if you're maybe like us, you live in the Midwest somewhere, gas might be pretty cheap, but as you're going farther and farther away, it gets more expensive. And I budgeted based on the number of gallons we were going to use on the price here.
So Gas Buddy is in real time. They know what all the pumps are charging.
And it goes,
all over.
you're going to need gas in Michigan. This is how much it is where we think you'll fill up.
Assuming you start with a full tank. Yeah, it's going to know where you're going to want it to. And it also is going to tell you good spots to stop. So maybe you personally might have gone 30 more miles, but it knows you're going to pay $10 less filling up here than at that super unpopulated exit with one gas station 30 miles down.
Or once you cross into that next state and the prices are a lot higher.
Yep. So when in doubt, listen to Gas Buddy.
Well, there you go. That is our first tool that we use. Gas Buddy in particular, Pay with Gas Buddy. We've got 2 more tools that you will hear about after this short break.
Transform part of your travels this summer into an engaging pilgrimage with your kids using interactive pilgrimage books from The Little Pilgrim. The Little Pilgrim creates books that are packed with faith-based information, fun quizzes and games, beautiful images to color, prayer prompts, and so much more. Your kids will get so much out of visiting a holy site using a Little Pilgrim book. Our friends at The Little Pilgrim also have a directory to help you find holy sites in every corner of the United States, making it easy to find a shrine, basilica, or other sacred site, whether you'll be traveling far or staying close to home. They are dedicated to inspiring families to visit more sacred sites, so please check out their website at thelittlepilgrim.com for all of these great resources. And through the end of June 2024, you, our Catholic Money Show listeners, can receive a special 10% discount with promo code WalletWin10. That is WalletWin10. Wherever your travels take you this summer, create a memorable family pilgrimage with interactive guidebooks from The Little Pilgrim. The next tip. Now this one, we have used this exhaustively.
I just used it last month.
We use it all the time whenever we have to rent a vehicle. And sometimes on a road trip, it makes sense to rent a vehicle. We've done this many times before. Right now we have 2 vans. One is a 2014 Honda Odyssey. We've done episodes on that entire situation when we tried to buy a van at the peak of used car frenzy a couple of years ago. But we did it. Before that, though, we had a 2007. We still have it. Chrysler Town and Country with almost 200,000 miles on it. It's looking rough. But it's just the spare car. And it won't probably be around much longer. But at a certain point, we just knew that this thing was no longer roadworthy as far as going on a road trip.
Yes.
That it was good for daily driving.
Tempting fate if we're going out of state lines with it.
Yeah, and we learned this the hard way. We took it out east. I don't know if you remember this. We took it out east.
Yeah.
And I forget exactly where we were driving through. I want to say it was Philadelphia because we took the van even up to like New York City and had done a few things. I think it was the summer of 2018. So we only had 2 of the girls, ages 3 and 1 with us. And we were in Philadelphia and all of a sudden something got finicky. Do you remember this?
A little bit. Yeah, we had it was kind of late at night or something, wasn't it?
Yes, it was really dark because we decided we were going to like drive through the night. And the transmission just started to get finicky and weird. And our thought was just keep driving and hope nothing happens.
Don't you dare turn it off. Yeah.
Now, we obviously had to stop and get gas on our way home.
Yeah.
But it was one of those like just get home as soon as possible. So it was a fairly painful road trip because it was that 20-hour
It was tough.
type of trip. And the car was getting finicky. But as soon as we got home, my dad was able to service it and then fix a couple of things that were like teetering on the edge of total, utter disrepair. And that at that point, it was declared.
I think that was the last time we drove it for more than 40 minutes at a time.
Yeah, this is a within an hour of the home vehicle. And that's about it because it's going to strand you at some point.
So if you've got a vehicle like that, you're not looking to put tons of miles on, well, renting a car could be pretty good. That's what we've done. We've rented a van before for the next time we went out.
The next 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
We went out because we were going out every summer there for a while. And yeah, we rented a van. And some people might think, oh my gosh, that sounds tremendously expensive. Well, it oftentimes is, unless you use AutoSlash. So what AutoSlash is going to do is you're just going to, you're going to take the trip in 6 months. Sometimes you want to play the game where it's like, oh, I got to time it right. I got to keep getting on and seeing how the prices are. No, you don't. Book it right now, even though it's way overpriced. Go to autoslash.com, put in your trip details. It's going to send you a link of where you can book, and then and then you have to tell it your reservation. It is going to scan the car rental market for you daily up until you take your trip. So if you do it 6 months in advance, you might have a couple of shifts where the prices go down. Most often, though, you'll get a decent price. Maybe you book it 90 days out. You might get one chance to lower it, but it's going to continuously ask you to do this. Even 2 days before, the car rental place might bottom out their prices just to try to get some of that inventory out there. Well, you get to take advantage of that new discounted pricing by saying, I don't want this anymore. I'm going to rebook. And it only takes about 5 minutes to just go through the rebooking. And car rental places don't charge you until you've actually taken the vehicle. So it's just a win-win all the way around. And this strategy, I want to say originally when we had rented a van to go out east for an entire week. Am I not close enough to the mic here?
It would help to be closer.
I'm not picking up on John's subtle hints of get your face closer to the microphone. Well, I have a baby head.
No, I'm moving.
Anyway, what was I saying?
When we went out east, the van, the cost of the rental.
Oh, yes. My brain left me for a second there. I think when I initially booked, it was about $2,000, which who wants to do that? At that point, you could just be flying. That's not really a cost savings. And then you'd have to rent a car on the ground, but still it could be cheaper depending on how many people are in your family. And I ended up getting it down to, I think, $700 on one of them. Another one, I want to say it was $500 just for like a 10-day rental.
Yeah.
Which is really, really affordable for a van. Oftentimes you'll get that kind of a pricing with like an economy car.
Clown car.
Yeah. And we were not going to do that to our family on the road trip. Our kids cannot sit that close to each other for that long without there being eyes poked out or scratching or whatever things they might fall into. So really, Auto Slash, it saved us probably $1,000
awesome.
each summer we used it. And that's just on those giant road trips.
Yeah.
You use it for just everyday things.
Just any other time renting a car when I went out east to see my family, I used it then. And what's great about it is that if you book somewhere else, you can give it your information and it can do the search for a better price thing. You can also
say you book it on Costco.com.
Yeah, wherever you go, you can just, hey, this is my booking. Can you help me out here? That's great. You can also start your search there as well.
Yes.
So that's what I have done. And when you do that, then you're putting in, I'm at Costco. I've got AAA. I'm a veteran, whatever it applies to you. And then it knows all those discounts too. So, and it searches like everybody and it'll give you all your different options, for, this company, it's this price with this kind of car, and it gives it all to you. So you can pick exactly what you want without having to search everywhere. That's super, super helpful.
Yeah. Love it. Auto Slash.
Auto Slash. There'll be a link. It's Auto Slash, not slasher, right? I'm pretty sure it's slash.
Let me look it up real quick.
There'll be a link in the show notes as well to the correct one. I think it's slash.
If I could type.
Autocorrect. That's what we got. Yeah, Auto Slash. Yep. So I'll have a link to that as well. Now, this last tool that we use.
Oh, boy.
I remember this came in handy.
I found it first. I found it first.
It wasn't the all through the night one because we wouldn't need to stop anywhere at a hotel all through the night. It was on a different trip out east because those have been our biggest, longest road trips.
And we break them up
and we've used it other times. But I remember, I think this may be when we found it. We're making our way back, and we're just trying to see how far can we get tonight, because we don't want to, waste some kids being content and happy in the car by stopping too early. But we also don't want to suffer through a couple hours of the opposite. So we need to be a little flexible. So we didn't know where we were going to stop.
And there's plenty of apps out there for this type of thing.
Yes.
But this one, the website is
there's
keep talking,
hotels tonight, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But what's great, there's Priceline, and a lot of these sites will give you good deals on the hotels. But then they'll go, hey,
you want a smoking deal?
I can give you a smoking deal if you trust me a little bit. I'll get you a 2.5 star. And that's not the rating out of 5. That's more of like the amenities and stuff. But anyway, I'll give you a 2.5 star in this general area for this much. But you don't get to know where you're staying until you book it. Or a 3 star, 3.5, whatever it is. And so, it's a little bit of a gamble. But what if you didn't have to gamble? What if you knew exactly what hotel you were going to get the special rate at? That is what happens
on Room Revealer. Now, the
website
website is not pretty. And
it's
I think
uggo.
Priceline probably hates them. Hotwire hates them. How I found them is because way back in the day, I think I was trying to figure out, could I score an on-property Disney hotel using Hotwire? Because I found some YouTubers who were talking about, if you go into Hotwire and you're going to choose one of these like fire deals or whatever they call them, and you go to like the location and you pick this specific neighborhood and you X off everything else, the only possible hotels that could be in there are going to be Disney-owned hotels. So they kind of found their own little back door in, but it still involved a little bit of risk, and you weren't quite sure which hotel it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow through this, I stumbled into the world of Room Revealer, which just tells you what that secret Priceline deal is, what the hot deal on Hotwire is. It just tells you straight up. Meaning, I think it was like Bonnet Springs or whatever down in, Florida. That's where it was. And so I just went on to Room Revealer and I saw exactly which Disney hotels I could get at these insanely low prices, which was it's kind of a back door into staying on property. Now, this was a few years ago. Nobody quote me that this is still happening today. For all I know, Disney has shut that down. Who knows? Oh, no. They've gone through many iterations and price gouged notoriously over the last few years. But this can come in handy not only in a situation like that, but also on a road trip. Say you want to stay downtown and you're downtown a certain city and you're passing through and you want a cool hotel and you know that typically you'd only be able to afford something like $150 or less, and that's putting you in a Hampton Inn. No shame in that. We've stayed at many a Hampton Inns. But what if you got on Room Revealer and somehow you're at this awesome, swanky 4-star thing downtown? Look at the prices for parking. Ooh. Nobody forget about that. Might need to park somewhere else because sometimes they're so high. And all of a sudden you're there for $99 a night. Why wouldn't you do that? We have done this several times and we've gotten a far more quality hotel than we would have gotten if we'd just gone with Priceline or Hotwire.
Yeah. Or you're looking to stay somewhere and maybe, I picked any hotel, maybe there's a small handful that are in, a part of the city you would be comfortable staying in. Maybe there's some in a part of the city you're not as comfortable staying in. Well, if you knew which ones were which, you could make a better choice. This does that for you.
Yep. You get awesome to pick like the neighborhoods or the areas that you want to be in.
So it just takes away all of the guessing games, but you still get the awesome price.
Yep. And we wanted this because as much as I want to trust Priceline, as much as I want to trust Hotwire, I don't, because we had one horrible experience.
Nichols
Village.
Nichols Village Inn and Spa.
Oh my word! This was in.
It came with all the amenities. It came even with free, complimentary, used, twisted up boogie tissues in the bathroom, already done for you.
Cigarette burn marks in the mattress bedspread. There was like a used bottled water, just the cap off.
What else do you need?
It was great. It had complimentary breakfast. It was literally just Danishes in like a
plastic wrap, like from the convenience store.
Yes, that's what their breakfast was. The pool was under construction and unusable. There was dirt in the hallway. There were box fans in the hallway trying to mask whatever moisture was in the carpet. Village. Anyway, we got on Priceline and we told them what we wanted, and then they sent us to this place. I went in there and they tell you no refunds. I took 2 looks.
We got the refund.
And that was not happening.
We did not room reveal this.
No. And so after that instance, I said, never again. So that night we ended up crossing our fingers and driving closer to New York City. This is that same road trip with the hinky van. And we somehow scored this historic Airbnb where the lady made us like organic
that was
cream and strawberries and cinnamon rolls. It was amazing. She lived in some house from like 1750s where George Washington walked by or whatever. It was there's always something out there like that. It was really, really neat. There was an old schoolhouse on the property. But after that, we made sure that we're never going to a place where we don't actually know, and I can't already look up the reviews. I just don't trust, because sometimes hotels that are junky are just going to
the only way they can get you there is if you don't know it's there.
Exactly. It's kind of like Groupon. There's going to be some great deals on there. We've scored incredible deals on Great Wolf Lodge. $99 a night. Can't beat it for the whole family, place to stay, and then the water park. We've also gotten some massages for me And then
From mouth breathers.
I got a mouth breather. And it was the most awkward experience of my life.
Jerry the mechanic, who's masseuse on the side.
We don't need to talk about it. Anyway, I think that there's a good bit of that happening in Hotwire and on Priceline and on Hotels Tonight. And so Room Revealer is the way to get the low price, but a way to protect yourself from people who are just trying to swindle you to their hotel. Don't always just take the lowest price. Read up on the reviews for sure. As long as you get the lowest price and you find one that has really solid reviews on maybe Google, book it. That's what you book.
Bingo,
and then
bango.
you move on.
That's right. So you can go on a great road trip. You can make memories without making some debt, without feeling it when you get back home by using Pay with Gas Buddy, Auto Slash, and Room Revealer to get those X-ray specs when you're looking at those hot deals.
Bada bing, bada boom.
We'd love to know when you're using these tips next. Tell us about your next trip. And if you have any other tips, hot tips for saving money while traveling, please share them with us on social media at WalletWin. And please share this episode with somebody you know who's going on vacation soon. We'd love to save them a couple bucks. And heck, you can take all the credit.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Thank you very much.
Till next time. Bye for now.